Welcome to It's All About You, a program that keeps you connected to all the exciting events and services the City of Urbana has to offer. I'm your host, Natalie KennyMarquez. On today's show, we'll learn about the Champaign-Urbana Area Medicine Take-Back Program, chat with City Arborist Mike Brunk, and talk with Kelly Mierkowski about the Grants Management Division at the City of Urbana. We'll also see what's happening with this year's CU Folk and Roots Festival. But first, I'm joined by Bruce Cubberly. Hi, Bruce. Thanks for being on the show today. And let's start with, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role here with the City of Urbana.
Sure. I'm the division manager for the Arbor Division that's in the Public Works Department. And the Arbor Division is basically in charge of everything that's growing. So we do the forestry program and the landscaping program. But in addition to that, we also take care of the Landscape Recycling Center that's over off our University Avenue. And
so you brought some show and tell today from the Landscape Recycling Center.
I did. I think some people maybe just bring their debris and drop it off and maybe buy some of our product, but they may not know what most of the property up there does. And there's about 26 acres up at the Landscape Recycling Center. And there's all these long windrows of things out there that is the compost process, which is what one of our products that we sell the most of is compost. It's made primarily from the leaves that are picked up each year. And debris that people bring and drop off could be weeds from their yard, grass clippings, some small branches, things like that. And so what I did is I went and took a sample from different piles and different places that are in different parts of the composting process. So people bring their material in and they drop it off, and it goes in this big pile that's probably what most people see. And then it goes through this big piece of machinery called a tub grinder. And after it goes through the tub grinder, it looks sort of like that and goes into the first pile. And so if you look through that pile, what you see is you'll see identifiable chunks of debris, pieces of the paper bags that they may have brought in, and it's left in that big pile, and then it gets consolidated about 6 months later into another pile, or actually there's more than one of these piles, and as they decompose, they shrink.
And so this is just yard waste, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then after about 6 months, it starts to look like that. And now you can start to see the difference. You can still see lots of things that you can identify, pieces of leaves, and others, but it's starting to take on that darker organic smell and also look more like what the final product. And then all the way at the end where the road is, where people pull off to go down to where they drop off their debris, they'll pass the pile that looks like this, and this is about 1 year old.
It even has a darker color.
It gets even darker. It's got finer, what we refer to as texture. And you can still see petioles or pieces of plants, stems, and things like that. And then after this sits for about 6 more months to a year, it goes through a screener. And once it goes through the screener, then it looks like what people buy. And this is only lighter in color because it is it doesn't have as much moisture in it. This just recently went through the screener, and so it's a little dry. But if it was wet, it would be like that. But what you can see is it's almost the consistency of what people would call dirt, but it really isn't. It's still all organic. And this is what you would add to your soil for your garden or landscape project that you're doing, or you can make potting soil and other things out of it as well. And so it takes roughly 1.5 years to 2 years to go from this to this before it ends up in people's yards.
And can anyone come to the Landscape Recycling Center to get product like this?
Yes. Yes, we are kind of a retail oriented type of operation, unlike a lot of other composting facilities that you might see in other parts of the country where they are strictly commercial, where they have stuff dumped and then they deliver it and sell it that way. We have people coming in and dropping off like just a little bit in their trunk, and they might have a bucket and pick it up. We actually sell buckets that people can use, and they buy it and they spend the $12 for the bucket, and then they can refill it as many times as they want throughout the year.
And where is the Landscape Recycling Center located, if folks don't know?
It's right off of University Avenue, And so if you go down and just past the park, if you're heading toward the interchange for 74, you take a left, and it's a long, kind of a windy drive that takes you back there. It's a pleasant drive, and it's a neat place to go visit, even if you aren't dropping something off.
And for more information, where can we go to learn more about it?
A new website that just started up in full force this spring, called the landscaperecyclingcenter.org. Has all sorts of information about the Landscape Recycling Center, products that we sell, and there's also some helpful fact sheets, so if you want to learn how to plant a tree properly or how to do some pruning, that's on there as well.
So before we go, if there's one tip that you could give our viewers, if there's a product or a project they're working on at home, like what's one piece of information we should...
Compost does amazing things for your soil.
Okay.
And so if you're putting in a vegetable garden or a flower bed or even planting a tree, adding the compost that we have, that's the end product, will help improve the fertility of your soil. It'll help improve the tilth, or how loose it becomes for roots to grow through. And it also improves the amount of water that soil can hold on to. So during times of drought, this will act as a sponge to improve your ground.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing all this information and the lovely compost that you brought today. And
my pleasure.
I'll go ahead and shake your hand, even with the compost on there. Thanks, Bruce.
You're welcome.
The most important thing for bicyclists and motorists to remember is to always follow the rules of the road, which mean follow all traffic laws and drive in a predictable manner. This is the best way for bicyclists and motorists to get along, and stay safe while sharing the road.
Welcome back. I'm now joined by Laura Kammin, and she's with the Champaign-Urbana Area Medicine Take-Back Program. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So this program has been going on for how long now?
For just a little over a year. We started in May of 2013, and it was a collaborative effort from lots of different partners around Champaign and Urbana to get this project started. We're very excited that it's in place.
Well, I know that there is a receptacle here at the City of Urbana, at the City Building,
Yes.
But there's places across Champaign-Urbana where folks can drop off their prescription drugs.
Right. So what a lot of people don't know is that because of the Controlled Substances Act, until very recently, actually just last week, new regulations came out. But up till that point, police departments were the only ones that could take those medications back. So the 3 collection boxes are all at police departments, not at pharmacies. That's a little strange for some people. But they're located here at the Urbana Police Department, at the Champaign Police Department, and also at the University of Illinois Police Department. All in the lobbies, so it's easy access.
Easy access. And how did you get involved with the program?
So Illinois-Indiana Sea Grant for the past 8 years or so have been working to educate the community here in town, but also within the Great Lakes states, about proper disposal, storage, and use of pharmaceuticals. And as part of that, if you tell people don't flush it down the toilet, you need to give them a good alternative.
Right.
And so the take-back programs are a great way to do that. And so we kind of work people through, these are all of the legal ramifications of doing this. This is how you have to incinerate it once you collect it, getting the word out to the public, because it's great to have an event or a collection take-back box, but if people don't know it's there, they're not going to use it.
Right, so there definitely was a need to have something like this. There was a need for an alternative,
Right.
And now there's 3 different places where folks can go to drop it off. What are the rules involved with dropping them off? What can be dropped off and what can't be?
So prescription or over-the-counter medications can be accepted. If you have expired or unused medications from your pets, the boxes can take those as well.
Okay.
Creams and lotions can also be accepted. What they won't take are needles or sharps, mercury thermometers, or asthma inhalers.
Got it. And it's been a successful program over this past year.
Yes.
And I've seen folks from the police department come in and pull things out of there, and then it looks like they're collecting a lot. Has there been a good turnout for this at the 3 different places?
There has. At the 3 different locations, more than 700 pounds have been collected so far.
Wow.
And that's with very minimal advertising.
Okay.
So it's sort of a grassroots effort. So we're very thankful that you're spreading the news to your viewers about the collection boxes being there.
Wonderful. Is there a website where we can point our viewers to learn some more about the program?
Yeah, so Illinois Indiana Sea Grant has a website at unwantedmeds.org.
Okay.
So I would encourage your folks to go there to learn more about the program in town or just about the topic in general.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
Take care.
Thanks.
One, two, three, four. I'm heading on down to the market Saturday morning. I'm heading on down to the market Saturday morning. All your farmer friends are there at the market at the square. I'm heading on down to the market Saturday morning.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining us today.
Sure.
So we're out here on location in front of a very special tree here in the city of Urbana. Tell us a little bit about this tree.
This is a very special bur oak. It's one of our older bur oaks in the community, and why we're meeting at this tree is it's our very first living legacy tree. On September 3rd, our tree commission voted to approve this tree to be a legacy tree. And it's our very first one that we're looking to recognize that way with a plaque out in the parkway. And in fact, we're going to launch our program with a celebration of this legacy tree.
Excellent. And you have a special celebration coming up in October?
That's right, October 9th. It will be Thursday, October 9th at noon. In case it rains, we're going to have a rain date on Friday, October 10th at noon.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit about this tree and why it was chosen as one of the first for this program.
Sure. Our Legacy Tree Program is to celebrate and recognize our significant trees of the community with the purpose of providing them better protection in the future. Our community is developing like all communities across the country, and a lot of times our larger trees are fodder to that development. When development comes in, trees go away a lot of times. It's very important to Urbana and the Urbana City Council and the mayor that we protect our significant trees. So we developed this program of the Legacy Tree Program to recognize these trees and bring that celebration and recognition, or bring recognition to those trees through our celebration and through community effort. So this tree is thought to be a remnant of the big grove. It's special that way. It's coupled with a very special house which was built in the 1890s. So really they're kind of inseparable, if you will. They're more important together than they are apart. The tree is, I think, 84.5 feet tall. It has a spread of about 72 feet. It has been well cared for. It's just a beautiful specimen of a bur oak. The pruning has been very professionally done. It's full flush and leaf throughout the tree. It's just an excellent specimen of a tree. And let alone for it to be thought to be over 150 years old.
Right.
So, you know, our trees are valuable. We have an appraised value of this tree of $20,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that's a significant amount. And a lot of people say, okay, that's the arborist's value of that tree. What does that really mean? That's one way to look at our trees, that we put a value to those trees, that if the tree was to be insured or if it was to be damaged somehow, that's a starting point of what the value we think this tree has.
Well, it's definitely a substantial tree. It's a lovely tree, and we were talking before that it drinks a lot of water.
Yes, that's the other thing that we've started to do in our inventory is promote what these trees really do for the community and how they save the community funds.
Right.
So the eco benefits on this tree are significant. According to our formulas, this tree absorbs 7,000 gallons of rainwater a year.
That's a lot.
Now it's a lot, it is.
So it's a big tree though.
It's a big tree. Now, if we look at all of our urban forest, we're looking at our trees are absorbing about 23 million gallons of rainwater a year. That's a substantial amount of rainwater that the city doesn't have to build infrastructure for. So that's a substantial amount of dollars that are saved by our trees just absorbing rainwater. But they also save us energy in heating, and they clean the air, and they provide value to our property. So we have this whole formula in our new inventory that gives these trees an eco value along with our appraised value.
That's fantastic. And again, the date of the event?
The date of the event, and we want as many people to come out as possible because we want to share this special occasion with our community and show our support for our trees, is October 9th, right here at 301 Griggs at noon. And in case there's rain, it'll be October 10th at noon.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mike, and showing us this fantastic tree. And I hope we get a nice turnout to come celebrate this lovely tree.
Thanks, Natalie. It's a great tree. Hope to see a lot of people there.
Wonderful. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Bicyclists must always ride with traffic and never against it. Motorists do not expect to see bicyclists riding towards them and therefore are not on the lookout for them, especially at intersections. Both bicyclists and motorists have less time to react when bicyclists go against the flow of traffic.
Hi, Kelly. Thanks for joining us today on It's All About You. So you've been with the City of Urbana and Community Development for?
I've been with the city for 9 years.
9 years. And as with the Grants Management Division, tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be working in the Grants Management Division.
Well, I would say before I started working for the city, I worked in social service agencies, so for about 15 years or so. So that's kind of my background before I started with the city. And when I first started with the city, I became a grant coordinator for the Community Development Block Grant and Supportive Housing Program. And I did that for 6 years, and then the last 3 I have been the manager for the division.
Fantastic. And your division does a lot for the city and for the community, many programs and services that you offer.
Yes, we oversee the federal grants that we receive from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. So through those grants we have a lot of programs that we have for citizens in the community.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the programs that you work on in grants?
Sure. Well, we have our housing rehabilitation programs, which I was going to talk about. We have openings in those right now. So we have our emergency grants, access grants, senior repair grants, and our whole house rehabilitation loan programs. So each one of those is specific as far as providing repairs that are necessary, or removing barriers for a senior repair, doing general home maintenance, and then whole house, basically providing up to $25,000, which might be available for qualified homeowners in the target areas in the city. But for all those, you can contact our division at 384-2447 to get the scoop on the programs and if you might qualify based on income.
So. Is that also listed on the website for the city as well?
It is. It's under residents. So if you go to residents and then you look at housing programs and then grants management, then you'll see the different programs there. Awesome. And we also are involved in social service funding with Cunningham Township and the city general fund that we do. We also have the home program, and so that we give money to community housing development organizations to build affordable housing, such as Habitat for Humanity is one, and we also will, through our community development block grant, purchase lots and property, and then we will donate those to them. So, and then we have a supportive housing program that we administer on behalf of agencies that provide transitional housing for women and families with children.
So a lot happening, a lot of programs, but then there's also more that the grants division does, if they could possibly do any more. There's also an event coming up in October as well, right?
Yes, there is. We are part of an event called Maximize Your Credit Score. It's an open house. It's through the Community Reinvestment Group made up of the cities, banks, and what it is, it's October 23rd at Land of Lincoln Legal Assistance at 302 North 1st Street in Champaign. And it's really good because you'll learn how to improve your credit score, meet with specialists one-on-one to learn specific techniques to improve your credit score. So if you would like to make a reservation or obtain your credit report in advance, you can call Nina Sibley at 403-7070. She's with the City of Champaign, who is taking the reservations. And it's sponsored by the cities, Busey, Heartland Bank. So that's that event in October.
Sounds like a great event. And if there are people that are interested in working in the division, there's a position available.
Yes, we have our Community Development Associate. It's a part-time, 32 hours a week with prorated benefits. So if you go to the city website and look under employment, you will see that position with the job description.
Fantastic. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today?
I just wanted to plug that we, if you want to get more involved in the community, that we have several commissions that have openings, including our Community Development Commission, but there's also the Urbana Plan Commission, the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the Design Review Board. So if you have any questions, you can certainly contact the mayor's office at 384-2456.
Wonderful. So many programs and services that you offer and ways to get involved and work with the division. So
yes,
that's wonderful. Thank you for all that you do for the City of Urbana, Kelly.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure to have you on today.
Thank you.
One, two, three, four. I'm heading on down to the market Saturday morning. I'm heading on down to the market Saturday morning. All your farmer friends are there at the market at the square. I'm heading on down to the market Saturday morning.
And we're back with It's All About You, and joining us now is Scott Dossett and Dennis Roberts with the CU Folk and Roots Festival, a fantastic event in Urbana coming up here shortly. Tell us how you both are involved with the CU Folk and Roots Festival.
You start. Well, I'm on the steering committee again this year. I'm the secretary, and so I've been working pretty hard since we started in February in terms of getting things ready for this year. And things are coming together great. We've got a really wonderful core group, and everyone is really looking forward to the festival this year. It'll be the 7th and 8th of November, right here in downtown Urbana. So our 6th annual CU Folk and Roots Festival is going to take place.
Fantastic. And your involvement with the Folk and Roots Festival?
It's as an advocate
Yes.
and a fan. I've attended probably the last 5 years, maybe all of them. I've seen it grow from, just kind of a sketchy event on the corner of the, near the library and other places, and I've just seen the attendance grow and grow. So I've become a supporter. I've donated some funds to see that it would happen, and I've tried to promote it, both to the City Council and to the Urbana Arts Commission.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a real big fan of it. They've had such great programs, and I'm really interested in also keeping it as a downtown event, because this is a unique thing for Urbana.
And it's an event that takes place in multiple locations within downtown Urbana.
Right. We've got a committee that's working on venues and working on booking, and we'll be using the Landmark Hotel to a greater extent this year, but we'll be in the Rose Bowl and the Iron Post and the Urbana Free Library for a lot of the free Saturday events. As you know, you buy a wristband to attend the nighttime events, but there's just a lot of things for families that happen on Saturdays, and a lot of those will be at the Urbana Free Library, and in it we will use space in the Landmark also. But everybody pitches in. Piatto will again do one of their lunchtime fundraisers for us. Kelly Jo has been so good to us. XJ at the Landmark has been real accommodating in terms of our power needs and stage setup sorts of things. The city has been real supportive this year with some extra money for us to be able to keep the festival downtown. And we received again a grant from the Urbana Public Arts Commission. So we really appreciate the city working hard, and Dennis has certainly helped us be able to keep the festival in downtown Urbana and be real robust. We're pulling entertainers from as far as North Carolina and along the East Coast. Don Flemons, who was with the Carolina Chocolate Drops. Laura Cortese, who was at the Landmark, will be back. One of the best flat-picking guitar players I've ever seen, a young man named Billy Strings, is going to be back from Traverse City, Michigan. In addition to all the people that you hear about or know about locally here, another group that's really supported us well are the Rose Bowl Urbana Hootenanny, the young people that are making music there every Monday night. And so it's really a community-spirited event, and we appreciate everybody's volunteer spirit, and we're always looking for more volunteers. So.
And the festival's unique in that it really draws all ages and all types of people to the event, and it's great for families, it's great for couples looking for something to do, or just to catch a great show. And I know that the families really enjoy some of the opportunities to participate and try some of the instruments and sing and dance.
Yeah, we've had in the past instrument petting zoos, and you know, all of the people that the folk music genre is just full of people who do this because they really love the idea of instruments and music, but of sharing. And so that was really the spirit that our founder Brenda Koenig really brought to the table, you know, some 7 years ago now, before the festival got started. And the more I learn about the festival culture, you know, that seems to be commonplace, but sadly not that common in our community generally. And so that's an aspect of it that I'm really proud that we bring forward. So.
And describe a little bit about the music that folks will be able to find at this festival. It's pretty broad.
Yeah, they'll be pretty broad, from blues, most of it acoustic centered. I mean, you're not going to have electric guitars and a lot of big drums and walls of speakers. It's music really more that exists in its subtleties and a little quieter, a little friendly. There'll be dance music. We've got at least 2 big dance sets that will happen in the big room at the Landmark. But we will have you know, people who are especially hired to come to the festival to entertain children. A lot of our work there gets helped a lot by the people at the Sousa Archives on the U of I campus. Scott Schwartz, wonderful supporter. He'll be there all day again Saturday, helping kids and families enjoy the music that we get. So.
That's lovely.
And the really fun thing is that as you go to one of the venues, you know that there's also music happening at a different location in the downtown, and you can wander from place to place to place, and it's just a continual choice. It's like a smorgasbord of styles of music, and I like the dancing, and I hope that there's going to be some good Cajun music this year.
Yeah, I think we'll have some good Cajun music this year.
I love Cajun dancing.
Yeah.
It's so much fun to do it, and we do know that the Landmark Ballroom, the grand room there, has got a great wood floor, a really great place to dance.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a real growing year, and I think the festival will go well. UBA threw in real heavily to help us with the stage at the Sweet Corn Festival this year, and so it's a real community effort.
That's wonderful. And remind us again the dates of the CU Folk and Roots Festival.
The dates are the 7th and 8th of November, and you can go to folkandroots.org to learn all about detailed band profiles and bios, how to buy your wristband, and that kind of thing.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much for coming on.
All right. Well, thank you, Natalie.
Best
We appreciate
of luck
it.
Yeah,
at a
thank you so much.
fantastic event here in Urbana. For more information on the City of Urbana, you can visit their website at urbanaillinois.us. From there, you can watch this program on demand and download our audio podcast. We appreciate you tuning in today and hope you'll join us again soon. And remember, it's all about you.